Hello, my name is Josh and welcome back to FPL Graduates. In today's video, I'll be going through my team reveal ahead of the Matchday 3 deadline. I've hit my wild card this week, so it's going to be an interesting draft, and a lot of you are on Limitless and using your chips, so maybe you can take some inspiration from it. If you haven't already though, make sure you check out our Limitless draft for Matchday 3. Ben's using his Limitless as well. It's going to be an exciting match day, so let's get into it. Okay then, so it's just me again for the team reveals this week. Ben is on holiday if you don't know already, so if you want to see Ben's team reveal as well as mine before the deadline, make sure you follow us on Instagram because we'll be posting it over there. So let's get cracking into my wildcard draft. So as you can see on screen, we've got the two goalkeepers and the rest of the bench. Starting off with Jordan Pickford, England against Slovenia. England defensively for me have been one of the best teams in the tournament. Only seen that one goal so far to Denmark, and obviously it was a fantastic goal at that. So for me, having England defenders against this Slovenia team who haven't looked too great in this tournament, I think it's a bit of a no-brainer at the moment. So Pickford is starting in goal. We then have Nita on the bench, who's €4 million from Romania, facing the Slovakia side, who again probably struggled to create chances despite scoring in both of their games so far at Euro 2024. So for €4 million, I think he's the best out of that sort of bunch in terms of the €4 million keepers. Obviously, the Austrian keeper, he's facing the Netherlands. He'd probably be one of my favourite options. But yeah, the fixture for me is a little bit too hard to warrant putting him in there. Next up, we've got Bruno Fernandes, and I'm recording this before the Saturday fixtures, should I say. So I haven't seen Belgium and Portugal play yet. I'm going to presume that Portugal beat Turkey and have 6 points. So for me, I think no matter what happens, though, Bruno Fernandes probably will start again in Matchday 3 against Georgia. And for that reason, he's got to be in a Limitless or a wild card draft. Koundé's up next, the first of the defenders, facing the Poland team who haven't looked great so far at the Euros and are already knocked out. Obviously, France do have a lot to play for, being on 4 points, the same as the Netherlands. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting how that group sort of pans out. I think it's going to be quite interesting to see with Austria as well, the dynamic in that fixture of the Netherlands. It's going to be a really, really good game. We then have Wout Faes as well, €4 million. Again, similar to Nita, the goalkeeper position. You sort of know what you're getting with him against the Ukraine side, who I thought looked much better in Matchday 2 than Matchday 1, but I still think Belgium are more than likely to keep a clean sheet in that fixture. Okay then, so moving on to the rest of the defenders in the team, we've got Theo Hernandez up first. Similar sort of vibes with Koundé. Obviously, France have a lot to play for. I expect them to keep the clean sheet as well in that game. They have kept 2 clean sheets so far in the tournament, so defensively they have been really, really solid. It's just the goals that have been lacking with France, similar to England, I guess you could say, with not too many goals being scored there either. Theo Hernandez as well, I thought he weren't as attacking against the Netherlands, but that's probably understandable considering he's on the side of Jeremy Frimpong and Denzel Dumfries. So yeah, a little bit more defensive on that route. Obviously they weren't playing Mbappe as well, so they had Rabiot playing, so it was well set up to sort of defend that Netherlands threat on that right hand side. We've got Mittelstadt up next, €4 million. For me, he is the best German defender to choose from. He gets really high ball recoveries. He obviously got an assist in Matchday 2, and I thought he looked dangerous in Matchday 1 as well. Again, we'll know the Germany lineups, or all of Group A's lineups, before the deadline. The lineups come out at 7. The deadline is at 8 on Sunday. So yeah, we'll know if Mittelstadt plays, but Germany do have something to play for. They have the top of the group to play for, obviously facing Switzerland, who are on 4 points. Germany are on 6 points. They just need to get any form of result to progress as group winners. We then have Mark Gahey. Obviously, I just spoke about England with Pickford in terms of their defence, and Mark Gahey for me has probably been England's player of the tournament so far. He's got some of the most ball recoveries for an England defender, and at €4.5 million, he's an absolute steal. Okay then, so moving on to the midfield, we've got 2 German players starting up first. We've got Jamal Musiala and İlkay Gündoğan. For me, both of them are likely to start, as I mentioned, with Mittelstadt. I think Germany will probably put out a pretty full strength team because they still need to top the group, and the difference between topping your group and finishing second is obviously quite meaningful in this tournament, because obviously you can face the third place teams as well. A really good incentive for Germany to sort of still field a strong 11, and obviously Musiala and Gündoğan both have been performing absolutely unbelievable so far in the tournament, so I expect that to continue into match day 3. Obviously, if there are any changes to the Germany lineup, we can make those changes prior to kickoff. Same applies to Dominik Szoboszlai of Hungary. We'll know if he's starting before that Scotland fixture on Sunday night. Szoboszlai is the talismanic figure for Hungary, who I thought were really poor in match day 1, but definitely improved against Germany in match day 2. And I do think that they will be dangerous against this Scotland team. Szoboszlai obviously operates on that sort of right-hand side of that Hungary front three, where there will be no Kieran Tierney. He's been ruled out for the rest of the tournament for Scotland. So I think that compacted with him being on all set pieces, on penalties, I think for me he's one of the better €7 million midfielders to choose from, no matter if you're on Limitless or not this match day. And then our final midfielder is Christian Eriksen. Similar sort of vibes to Szoboszlai in terms of him being such a talismanic figure for Denmark. The only other caveat here is that you could potentially go for a Spain midfielder, but for me, I just don't know who is going to start in that Spain team. I don't know if they're going to rotate the full team, rotate only some of their players. It's really, really hard to tell at the moment. Obviously, we do know that Spain will progress into the next round. So we're thinking there's going to be a lot of rotation. So you'll see a lot of Grimaldos, Oyarzabals, maybe even David Raya starting in goal. So for me, I've decided to, at the moment, avoid that unless we get any sort of concrete information before the deadline on Sunday night. Okay then, and now the forwards to wrap up the team. We've got Harry Kane up first. Again, that Slovenia fixture looks really, really nice. I don't expect Harry Kane to be benched for this game. I'd be really shocked if he was. I know he wasn't great against Denmark despite picking up that goal. But for me, I just think it's not a Harry Kane issue necessarily. I think England just need to play further up the field. They're playing far, far too deep, and that doesn't benefit Harry Kane whatsoever. So yeah, for me, he's on there. He's got penalties. He's just England's top goal scorer. There's no reason to go against him, in my opinion. Cody Gakpo is up next. I thought he's been really, really good in match day 1 and match day 2. Probably unlucky not to return in match day 2 against this Austrian side who have looked really, really good. But I do think that the Netherlands will sort of outshine them with their quality. And I think that Cody Gakpo is one of those players that has performed really, really well so far in that system for the Netherlands. And then finally, to wrap things up, it is Kylian Mbappe. Obviously, he does have that broken nose. Didn't feature in match day 2, which, to be fair, leading up to kickoff, I did think that he was going to play, and a lot of rumours were coming out that he was going to come into the squad. He was just on the bench for the whole game, though, so it'll be interesting to see whether he's recovering in time to play in that final group stage game. Obviously, there is quite a bit to play for France, not so much for Poland, so it depends how they sort of weigh up that risk of getting him involved. But yeah, for me, if he is available to start, he's a fantastic option, of course, and obviously could be a captaincy option if needed be by the time that France play Poland. Okay then, so moving on to who I'll be captaining on the match days, and if you haven't already noticed, there's a clear admission of a full day, potentially, of no captain. So we'll start off on the first day. I've got lots of assets from that day, and that is due to knowing that they're going to be starting. I think it's going to be a real big factor in sort of knowing that your players will play in this match day, because it's the match day with the most chance of rotation out of all the match days throughout the tournament. So yeah, as you can see, Ilkay Gundogan will probably be my captain if he does start. If he is rotated, maybe Nicholas Fulkrug comes in, I might have to restructure my team a little bit. But yeah, for me, Gundogan, Mittelstadt, or Musiala, they're all really, really nice captaincy options. I don't think I'd go for Szoboszlai just because I'm more hasty in terms of will he return or not. But for me, any of the German assets are a no-brainer for the first day of the match day in terms of captaincy. The second day is obviously a bit problematic in terms of this draft because I have absolutely nobody who plays from the group with Spain, Italy, Croatia and Albania. This sort of comes in line with that Christian Eriksen sort of slot. And if I want to take a risk on a Spanish midfielder, for me, I love Nico Williams, and if I knew he was going to start, he'd definitely be in that slot where Christian Eriksen is. But because we don't, it's a little bit more tricky to sort of decide upon whether I want someone who not only will potentially be a risk to not play at all, but also you know, if I don't have anyone play, I'm in the same position as I am now with no captaincy option on that day. So yeah, for me, it's a tough decision. I haven't made my mind up yet. I think Christian Eriksen is probably the most likely to change out of this team in that midfield slot. So let me know what you would do in my situation. Would you sort of take a gamble on a Spanish midfielder, or would you go for maybe an Italian one? For me, the Italy team just don't look great going forwards, and I think that's their main problem at the moment. So yeah, I'm sort of happy at the minute to go without a captaincy option on match day, or on day 2 of match day 3. Moving on to day 3, and then we get a bit of a captaincy headache because it is the day that France, Netherlands, England, all that groups, both of those groups play one set of teams at 5, one set of teams at 8. So there's a plethora of options basically that we could go for. If we know that Kylian Mbappe is fit, I think he's by far the standout option. If he isn't, I think it will probably revert down to Harry Kane. Just because of the penalty factor, and I think England will score some goals against Slovenia. Not that they have so far in the tournament, but we'll have to obviously wait and see on that. Obviously, a nice differential option that you could potentially go for is Cody Gakpo in this team, but that is obviously if he stays in the team, because he is, again, similar to Eriksen, could be a player that we sort of chop and change out, along with potentially Mbappe as well, of course, because he's not definite to be starting. And then moving on to the final day of the match day in terms of captaincy, we have Belgium's group play at the same time as Portugal's group. So yeah, there's obviously a no-brainer decision in that day, and if it comes down to it, it will be Bruno Fernandes on the armband on that last day. I do not have Romelu Lukaku in this draft. He's been featured in all of my drafts so far in Euro Fantasy. So depending on his performance tonight as I'm recording this against Romania, will probably make my decision a little bit harder as to whether I go with Kylian Mbappe up front or I save myself a couple of million and go with Lukaku. Obviously with that 2 million I can do quite a lot with it, so it'll be an interesting decision no matter what. And yeah, definitely something that I've been thinking about, whether I go with Mbappe or Lukaku. Obviously Lukaku does give us probably a slightly better captaincy option than Bruno Fernandes on that last day. Obviously the fixture there though for Portugal is unbelievable with that Georgia fixture, so I'm happy either way, to be quite honest. Let me know who you'll be captaining in the comments down below, because I think this match day in particular is quite a different one because of obviously all the rotation, especially on that sort of day 2 of the match day where I currently have no assets currently for captaincy. So yeah, let me know down in the comments. Okay then, so that wraps up my team reveal for match day 3 using the wild card chip. Let me know what your thoughts are of my draft in the comments down below, and any questions you have going into this match day. Obviously the turnaround is so tight in terms of the deadlines. It's literally games the night before the deadline for the next day, so that's why these videos are sort of overlapping certain fixtures, and obviously the more days that progress, the more information that we have. So yeah, hopefully if all goes well, Belgium and Portugal win today, and then we can know that going into the going into the next match day, all the results are sort of there to be won. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the like button if this has helped you out sort of decide your match day 3 team. Until next time, I've been Josh. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good match day, everyone.
So you may rise, but you'll never make me wanna stick around you.